So the first thing that we need to do in this Python refresher is to make sure that we have the correct version of Python installed on our computer. And if we don't, we need to walk through how we can go ahead and get that. So if you're on a Mac or a Linux computer, we need to open up our terminal to see if we have Python installed. So on a Mac computer, I think the easiest way to get your terminal open is if you just hit Command Spacebar. You can open up the Spotlight search, and if you just start typing terminal, it'll say, oh, are you looking for this application, the terminal? You hit enter. Boom, you've got your terminal up. If you want to go the more manual route, you can hit like your launch pad and then find your other folder. Then within there, you could open up your terminal that way. Now, if you're on a Linux computer, I assume you know where your terminal is. It's a pretty pivotal part of Linux, and it's different on every computer, so I'm sure you'll know where to find that. Now, if you're on a Windows computer, you need to open up the command prompt. So if you don't know how to do that, go ahead and hit the Windows and R button, then type in CMD, and that'll open up your command prompt. And again, if you have any issues, just Google how to open up the command prompt on Windows. So once you have your terminal or your command prompt open, we need to see if we have Python installed. So the way to check that is we can try and check the Python version. So you just type Python space -- version, just like this. Okay, and hit enter. And if you have Python installed, you should see something that says something like this, Python 2.7.10. Now, if you don't have it installed, it will say something like no such program found or something like that, whatever it is, which then means you need to install it. But before we move forward, there's two different versions of Python. I mean, there's lots of different versions in between, but there's essentially Python 2 and there's Python 3, and we need to make sure that we have Python 3. So when I typed Python and said, you know, -- version, this isn't the 3 version. Now, if yours showed up 3, that means you're good to go. But if you got this 2, that you may still have Python 3 installed on your computer. The way to check is to type Python 3 space -- version, just like this. And if it is installed, you will see Python 3.5. So if by either typing Python or Python 3, you didn't get eventually to a 3.5 version, that means that you need to go ahead and install Python on your computer. And we need to make sure it's Python 3, okay? So what we're going to do is open up a web browser. I'm going to open up Safari and just go to python.org. And they make this incredibly simple. This, all we do is we go to downloads here, and it will detect based on your browser what operating system you're using. It detected for me that I'm using Mac OS X, and we want to make sure we get the Python 3 version, not the 2. Go for Python 3, just click this, and it will download this installer that will help get Python up and running on your computer. And it's for all kinds of operating systems. If you click here for the full download list, they have it for Windows, Linux, Mac, and even all these other crazy types of really niche operating systems. So go ahead and follow this process to get it downloaded. Again, the way to ensure that you have Python installed is once you've gotten all this stuff done, go back to your terminal, command prompt, whatever it is, and do something like Python 3 or just straight up Python, whichever one gets you to show Python version 3. Okay? So once you got that all installed, let's go ahead and actually start diving into the code.